For refusing to pay for my sister's wedding after my family uninvited me? Aunt Valerie's text came in while I was standing barefoot in my kitchen, waiting for my microwave burrito to stop rotating like a sad little planet. Honey, please don't panic, but were you told about this? Under the message was a photo taken from an angle, probably fast, probably while pretending to admire the table settings. It showed a printed seating chart on foam board, propped against somebody's dining room wall. Cream paper, gold script, eucalyptus border. The kind of thing my mother would call tasteful 7 times in one afternoon. I zoomed in with 2 fingers, half expecting to laugh because Aunt Valerie had misread something. There was my parents' table. Marla and Gordon. Tessa and Wyatt. Wyatt's parents. His sister. My Aunt Valerie. A cousin I hadn't seen since he got very into CrossFit. Not me. I searched the chart again, slower this time. Table 2, table 3, table 4. My name wasn't tucked somewhere with college friends or church people or vendors. It was gone. Then I saw it. At the table where I should have been, between Aunt Valerie and Wyatt's sister, was a typed place card that said Kelsey, florist assistant. For a second the microwave beeped and I just stood there, looking at my phone while Cheddar, my orange cat, screamed at my ankles like I personally controlled time and poultry. My name is Brianna. I'm 29. And until a few months ago, I was the person in my family everyone called when something unexpected happened. A blown tire. A missed mortgage payment. My sister needing another deposit for her wedding florist. I work as an operations coordinator for a regional medical supply company outside Pittsburgh, which sounds more glamorous than it is. Mostly it means spreadsheets, vendor emails, shipping delays, and making sure people get talked to in the right order when backordered gloves don't arrive on time. Pays my bills. It lets me keep a small apartment with noisy neighbors, a tiny balcony, an always overflowing recycling bin, several struggling plants I keep promising to save, and one very judgmental orange cat named Cheddar. I am not rich. I am not even comfortable in the way people mean when they say comfortable and then casually order appetizers. I am stable because I plan hard, say no to myself often, and eat more sad desk lunches than any grown woman should. My younger sister, Tessa, has always been the one my parents softened around. She cried easier, smiled prettier in photos, and somehow every mistake she made turned into a family project. I knew that. I had known it since she was 6 and broke my birthday snow globe, and then somehow I got told to comfort her because she felt terrible. What I didn't realize was that I had been cast as the family ATM until I got uninvited from the wedding I was paying for. Tessa's wedding started, at least publicly, as modest. That was the word she used in the group chat after she got engaged. Nothing crazy, she wrote. I just want something pretty and simple with the people we love. There were 27 heart emojis from various aunts, cousins, and church ladies who had known us since our bangs were uneven. My mother, Marla, replied, "My baby deserves the most beautiful day." Then she posted the ring photo on Facebook before Tessa did. First, the plan was reasonable. A fall wedding at a renovated barn venue about 40 minutes outside Pittsburgh. Ceremony lawn. Cocktail patio. Bridal suite with exposed beams and a full-length mirror. Reception inside, string lights, white linens, nothing outrageous. Wyatt's family was more comfortable financially than ours, though nobody said it that plainly. His parents asked practical questions about budgets and payment schedules. My mother heard those questions as a challenge. By the second month, simple had become plated dinner instead of buffet. By the third, there were signature drinks named after Tessa and Wyatt's dog. Then custom signage. Welcome bags. A floral installation over the head table. A premium beverage package because, according to my mother, cash bars are tacky when the groom's family is used to certain standards. I remember the first call clearly because I was folding laundry on my bed, and Cheddar was sitting inside the laundry basket like he had paid rent. "Brianna," Mom said, in the careful voice she used when she had already decided what I was going to do. "The venue needs a deposit tonight to hold the October Saturday." Tonight. Apparently another couple is looking at it. Okay. So Tessa and Wyatt should call them. There was a pause. Then a little sigh, not angry, just disappointed enough to make my shoulders tighten. "Tessa is at work, and your father and I are trying to move money around. I forgot my checkbook when we toured, and the online portal is being ridiculous. Can you just put down the deposit? Just for now." "How much?" She said it quickly, like ripping off a bandage. 3,000. I sat down on the edge of my bed. Mom, it's refundable for a little while. Or mostly refundable. I don't know, Brianna. I was trying to listen, but the coordinator was talking fast. We will pay you back after we sort out the shower money. Shower gifts don't usually pay for venue deposits. Don't start. It's not for us. It's for your sister's once-in-a-lifetime day. That was how they always got me. Not with screaming. Not with threats. With the idea that saying no made me small. Ungenerous. The kind of daughter who kept score. So I paid the venue deposit. The coordinator, Anika Patel, sent the contract to my email because I was the one entering the card. I remember asking Mom, "This is temporary, right?" "Of course," she said. "Don't be dramatic." I signed as the responsible billing contact because I worked with contracts every day and knew someone had to be attached to the payment. I told myself it was paperwork, not a promise. I downloaded a copy into a folder on my laptop called Tessa Wedding, because I am the kind of person who names folders like a tired accountant. Then came the florist deposit. Then the photographer's second payment. Then part of the catering contract because Wyatt's parents were apparently covering the rehearsal dinner, and my mother didn't want them to think we couldn't handle our side. The Venmo requests were always vague. Family help. Tessa stuff. Deposit for now. Mom used pink heart emojis and sometimes a bride emoji, as if that made the numbers softer. I paid more than I should have, then moved money from savings to checking and pretended I wasn't nervous. When Sloan, my coworker and closest friend, asked why I was eating vending machine pretzels for lunch 3 days in a row, I told her I had forgotten to grocery shop. She looked at me over her salad and said, "You are a terrible liar, but I respect your commitment." I didn't tell her everything then, partly because I was embarrassed, partly because saying it out loud would make it real. At Sunday dinners, my mother talked about the wedding like she had personally financed a royal event. She would stand in my parents' kitchen, stirring sauce from a jar into pasta, saying things like, "We decided to upgrade the linens," or, "We wanted Tessa to have the photographer she loved." At one dinner, Aunt Valerie brought a bulk store cake because it was my cousin's birthday. Everyone was eating off paper plates in the living room while football played on mute. "That's generous of you, Marla," Aunt Valerie said after Mom described the floral installation in great detail. Mom smiled, small and proud. "You do what you can for your kids." I looked at Tessa. She was sitting cross-legged on the carpet, scrolling through her phone, her engagement ring catching the light. She didn't look up. That should have been enough for me to stop. But families don't train you all at once. They train you in tiny moments. They teach you that discomfort is temporary but guilt lasts. They make silence feel like loyalty. The first weird moment came at the bridal shower. It was at Wyatt's mother's house, which looked like a magazine had been told to calm down. Neutral furniture, fresh flowers, hand towels no one was supposed to use. I arrived early because Mom asked me to help set up. I carried in 2 trays of mini quiches and a box of favors Tessa had ordered online and forgotten to unwrap. For an hour, I taped little tags onto tiny jars of honey while bridesmaids floated around in matching pale blue dresses. Every time someone took a photo, I was somehow handed something to hold in the kitchen. "Brianna, can you grab more napkins?" "Bri, can you check if the coffee is ready?" "Brianna, you're so good at organizing." That last one came from Mom, which meant please stay useful and out of frame. At one point I walked into the kitchen and heard a bridesmaid say, "Oh, I thought you weren't." She stopped when she saw me. "Weren't what?" I asked. Her face went pink. "Nothing. Sorry. I thought you were someone else." Tessa turned away and became very interested in arranging macarons on a plate. I should have asked more questions then. Instead, I told myself weddings made people strange. Everyone was stressed. Maybe there was some bridesmaid drama I didn't know about. Maybe the dresses were delayed. Maybe the seating chart was still in progress. Then Aunt Valerie sent the photo. After I saw Kelsey, florist assistant, sitting in my place, I texted Tessa first. I stared at the message box for a long time because everything I wanted to type sounded either too weak or too explosive. "Hey, Aunt Val sent me a photo of the seating chart. I don't see my name. Is there a mistake?" The typing bubbles appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, Tessa replied, "Please don't make this harder than it has to be." My fingers went cold. I called her. She didn't answer. I called my mother. She answered on the fourth ring with noise in the background, voices and clinking dishes, like she was still at whatever planning thing Aunt Valerie had infiltrated with her phone camera. "Hi, honey," Mom said too brightly. "Am I invited to Tessa's wedding?" Silence. Not confusion. Not surprise. Silence with a shape. "Mom." She exhaled. "Brianna, this has become complicated." I leaned against my kitchen counter. The microwave burrito sat untouched behind me, collapsed at one end. That's not an answer. Wyatt's family doesn't know you like we do. What does that mean? It means sometimes your intensity comes across wrong. My intensity paid the venue deposit. Her voice sharpened, then smoothed itself out. Don't reduce your sister's wedding to money. I laughed once, not because anything was funny. You want me to pay for a chair I'm not allowed to sit in? No one said it like that. I'm saying it like that because that's what it is. There are concerns about drama, she said, and the beverage service, and just the overall mood of the day. Tessa has been crying all week. She wants peace. I hadn't had more than a single glass of anything festive in years because it triggered severe migraines that made me want to hide in a dark room forever. The idea that the beverage service had anything to do with me was so strange I couldn't respond at first. Mom took my silence as an opening. The final catering balance is due Friday, she said. If that doesn't get paid, it affects everything. This is not the time to punish your sister. I looked down at Cheddar, who was chewing the corner of a shipping box with the focus of a tiny criminal. I need to go, I said. Brianna, don't be selfish. I hung up. 10 minutes later, my father left a voicemail. I watched his name light up my screen and didn't answer because I already knew his tone. Gordon never yelled. He placed disappointment on your shoulders like a heavy coat and acted hurt when you struggled to breathe. His voicemail began exactly the way I expected. I'm not mad, Bri. I'm disappointed. I sat on the floor beside my bed and listened. Your mother is beside herself. After everything we've done for you, I would hope you could be the bigger person. Sometimes family means sacrifice. Sometimes being the bigger person means not needing applause. Tessa only gets one wedding day. Don't turn this into a bookkeeping issue. Call your mother. After everything we've done for you. I replayed that part 3 times, waiting for it to become less absurd. The next day at work, I made it until lunch before I told Sloan. We were in the break room, sitting under fluorescent lights that made everyone look vaguely ill. I had bought a packet of peanut butter crackers and a diet soda from the vending machine because I had spent the morning staring at invoices instead of packing food. Sloan listened without interrupting. She was 31, sharp-eyed, and had the kind of calm that made panicked people confess things near her. When I finished, she held out her hand. Show me the contracts. I don't want to make this a whole thing. Brianna. What? They didn't uninvite a guest. They uninvited the bank and forgot the bank has terms. Show me the contracts. So I opened the folder. Venue contract. Catering agreement. Florist deposit receipt. Photographer payment schedule. Beverage package addendum. My name was everywhere. Billing contact. Authorized cardholder. Client of record for payments. Responsible party for final balance. Sloan scrolled through the PDF and muttered, "Oh my word. It's bad. It's not bad for you. It's bad for them if you stop pretending you're not the customer." I wanted that to make me feel powerful. Mostly I felt sick. That afternoon, while I was trying to approve a shipment of exam table paper, an email popped up in my inbox from the caterer. It looked like a normal payment reminder until I realized I was copied, not addressed. Dear Marla, per your note, Brianna will not be present at the event, but her card remains authorized for the remaining balance on file. Please confirm final headcount and premium beverage selections by Wednesday at noon. I read it once, then again. There it was in writing. Not a misunderstanding. Not a seating mistake. A plan. My heart did something strange then. It didn't race. It slowed down. Everything got quiet inside me in a way I didn't recognize. I forwarded the email to my personal account. Then I emailed Anika Patel at the venue and asked if she had 10 minutes to discuss the contract attached to my name. She called me 30 minutes later. Hi Brianna. she said, professional and careful. I have your file open. How can I help? I was sitting in my car in the parking lot because I didn't trust my face at my desk. Rain tapped lightly against the windshield. I need to understand why I am no longer listed as a guest, while still listed as the responsible billing contact. There was a pause. I can confirm you are the client of record for billing purposes on our end, Anika said. The guest list is submitted separately by the couple or their representative. Can anyone else authorize charges on my card? Not without written approval from you. Has anyone tried? Another pause. There have been requested add-ons communicated by Marla, but the card on file is yours. We would require authorization before processing final charges. I closed my eyes. Anika, I know you can't get involved in family dynamics. I'm not asking you to, but I need to know what was said about why I'm not attending. Her voice softened without becoming unprofessional. Brianna, I have to be careful. I understand. What I can say is that concerns were relayed about potential behavioral issues and conflict at the reception, particularly with beverage service. We have strict guest conduct policies, and when a family raises a concern, we document it. I opened my eyes and stared at the rain blurring the windshield. Behavioral issues, I repeated. That was the language used. Did they say I struggled with self-control? Anika didn't answer immediately, which was answer enough. A laugh came out of me, thin and ugly. I get dizzy from a single celebratory drink and need a nap. I'm sorry, she said. Again, from our side, you are the contracting client for several financial components. If you want copies of all documents, receipts, and change orders, I can send them to the email we have on file. Please do. Before we hung up, she added, Wyatt's parents did ask questions at the last walkthrough about why your name appeared on multiple payment confirmations. I don't know what happened after that. I knew. My mother had been telling everyone she and my father were paying for the wedding. Wyatt's parents, who apparently understood budgets and contracts like normal adults, had noticed my name. Instead of admitting that their older daughter had been quietly funding the parts they wanted credit for, my parents had made me the problem. They didn't just remove me from the wedding. They built a reason for my absence that made them look responsible. By the time I got home, my hands had stopped shaking. Cheddar met me at the door, yelled, and then immediately turned his back on me because dinner was 12 minutes late. My apartment smelled faintly like coffee grounds and the lemon cleaner I used when anxious. I fed him, changed into sweatpants, and opened my laptop at my small kitchen table. Then I started doing what I actually knew how to do. I requested every contract, every invoice, every receipt, every change order. I read cancellation clauses, non-refundable deposit language, final payment deadlines, and authorized billing terms. The venue deposit was gone no matter what. Fine. I had made peace with that money as the tuition cost of stupidity. But the premium beverage package had not been fully paid. The floral ceiling installation was pending final approval. The late-night snack station was an add-on. The welcome bag assembly fee had not been authorized. The upgraded linens were in a change order that still required signature. At 9:42 p.m., I sent my first email. Hello Anika. Please confirm in writing that no additional charges, add-ons, upgrades, or changes may be processed under my name or card, without my direct written approval. Please also confirm the current balance due, the deadline for final payment, and which services will remain under the base package if no additional payment is made. Thank you. Brianna. I sent similar emails to the caterer, florist, photographer, DJ, and rental company. Calm, polite, boring enough to be dangerous. The florist replied first the next morning. Hi Brianna. Confirmed. No additional charges will be processed without written authorization from you as cardholder. Please note the floral ceiling installation remains unpaid and will be removed from the order if payment is not received by the deadline. I stared at the email while eating toast over the sink. For the first time in weeks, food tasted like something. By noon, I had enough documentation to send one email to Tessa, my parents, and Wyatt. I debated including Wyatt. My instinct was to keep things inside the family, which was exactly how my family kept getting away with things, so I included him. Subject: wedding vendor contracts and payment responsibility. I kept it short. I will not fund an event I am barred from attending, especially after false statements were made about me to justify my removal. Effective immediately. No further charges are authorized on my card or under my name. Any vendor contract currently listing me as client of record, billing contact, or responsible payer must be transferred to Tessa, Marla, Gordon, or Wyatt within 5 business days with updated written authorization and a new payment method. If that does not happen, vendors will follow their existing contract terms, including removal of unpaid add-ons or services. I am not canceling the wedding. I am canceling my unpaid financial responsibility for it. Attached are receipts and contracts for everyone's reference. I hit send before I could talk myself out of it. The family group chat exploded 11 minutes later. Mom, Brianna, please don't embarrass Tessa right now. Tessa, are you serious? Dad, this is very disappointing. Mom, we can discuss this privately like adults. Me, I tried. You removed me from the guest list and kept my card on file. Tessa, you are making my wedding about yourself. Me, I am asking why I'm paying for an event I was removed from. Mom, this is exactly the kind of drama we were worried about. I almost responded with 10 paragraphs. I typed 3 and deleted them. Then I wrote 1 sentence. Me, I am not canceling your wedding. I am canceling my unpaid financial responsibility for it. Mom sent a string of crying emojis, which was new. Dad left the chat, which was not new. Tessa called me twice. I didn't answer because I knew if I heard her cry, my spine might turn back into overcooked pasta. At 3:18 p.m., I got a fraud alert from my credit card company. Did you attempt to charge for $1,850 at Laurel Ridge Events? I stared at it while standing beside the office printer, holding a stack of packing slips. No, I replied. My phone rang seconds later. Mom, I let it go to voicemail. Then I called the card company, reported the attempt as unauthorized, and requested a new card number. My voice was so steady the representative probably thought I was calling about a subscription renewal. That evening Aunt Valerie called. I'm old, not blind, she said instead of hello. This family got too comfortable lying to the quiet one. I sat on my couch with cheddar pressed against my thigh. What did you do? Forwarded Wyatt the receipts. My stomach dropped. Aunt Val. He asked me directly if you were unstable. I decided the truth had earned a turn. I covered my face with my hand. He thought I had issues with self-control. He thought a lot of things, honey. None of them came from you. The knock on my apartment door came the next night, hard enough to make cheddar launch off the couch. I looked through the peephole and saw my mother and Tessa standing in the hallway. Mom was wearing her church cardigan, the cream one that made her look gentle in photos. Tessa had mascara under her eyes and her hair in a messy bun that probably took effort to look effortless. I opened the door but left the chain on. Take the chain off, Mom said. No. Her mouth tightened. Brianna, this is ridiculous. Cheddar appeared behind my ankle, took one look at my mother, and hissed. Even your cat is dramatic, Tessa muttered. He has good instincts, I said. Mom inhaled like she was about to begin a speech she had practiced in the car. You are humiliating this family. Vendors are calling. Wyatt is asking questions. His mother barely spoke to me today. No, Mom. I'm refusing to finance the humiliation you created. Tessa's face crumpled. Why are you doing this to me? I looked at her for a long second. She looked younger than 25 then, but not innocent. There is a difference. Did you know I wasn't invited? She wiped her cheek. I didn't know what else to do. That's not an answer. Mom said it would be easier. Wyatt's parents were asking why your name was on everything. And then it got weird. And I just wanted one day to be normal. Normal for who? Mom stepped forward. The chain pulled tight. This is not the time for interrogation. Call the vendors and reverse whatever you did. No. You don't mean that. I do. You are trying to ruin your sister's wedding. No. I'm refusing to keep funding the lie that you paid for it. Tessa flinched. Mom didn't. That told me a lot. We never lied, Mom said. Before I could answer, footsteps came down the hallway behind them. Wyatt appeared near the stairwell, breathing like he had taken the steps too fast. He was still in work clothes, tie loosened, face pale. "Tessa," he said. Tessa turned. "What are you doing here?" "Your aunt sent me documents." Mom closed her eyes for a fraction of a second. "Valerie needs to learn boundaries." Wyatt looked at me through the crack in the door, then back at Tessa. "So your sister paid for my wedding, and you let me think she was the problem?" Tessa's mouth opened, closed. "It wasn't like that," Mom said quickly. Wyatt didn't look at her. "Why was I told Brianna couldn't be trusted around an open beverage service?" Tessa whispered. "That wasn't exactly what we said." "It is exactly what my mother heard." The hallway went silent except for a TV playing somewhere behind a neighbor's door. Mom recovered first. She always did. There were concerns about tension. We didn't want anything disrupting the day. Brianna can be intense when she feels slighted. I laughed quietly. When I feel slighted, that's one way to describe being erased from a wedding I paid for. Wyatt looked sick. "How much?" I didn't answer right away. Tessa said, "Wyatt, please." "How much?" "Enough," I said. "Thousands. Venue deposit, florist deposit, photographer balance, catering payments, parts of the beverage package. I sent the receipts." He rubbed both hands over his face. "My parents asked because they thought maybe Brianna was a wedding planner or something. Your mom said she handled bookkeeping because you were worried about her behavior." Mom's voice went cold. I did what I had to do to protect Tessa's day. That was when I remembered Dad's voicemail. Not the disappointed one. The second one he had left after the fraud alert, while I was in the shower. I hadn't listened past the first few seconds because I wasn't ready. Now I opened my phone, found it, and pressed play through the gap in the chain door. Dad's voice filled the hallway, tired and annoyed. "Bree, you need to stop this before it gets out of hand. We needed Wyatt's parents to believe we had it handled. You know how your mother gets. She was trying to keep everything looking stable. Nobody meant to hurt you. But if those upgrades get pulled, everyone is going to know we couldn't cover it. And your sister will be devastated. Be reasonable." The voicemail ended with a soft click. Nobody moved. Wyatt stared at Tessa. "You knew." Tessa started crying harder. "I knew Brianna helped. I didn't know all the details." "You knew she wasn't invited." "I was scared Mom would cancel things if I pushed back." "Cancel things she wasn't paying for?" Tessa looked at the floor. My phone buzzed in my hand. An email banner appeared from Anika. I opened it because at that point, why not let the universe finish the sentence? "Dear Brianna, per the contract terms and missed authorization or payment deadline, the following unpaid add-ons have been removed from the event package: premium beverage upgrade, floral ceiling installation, late-night snack station, and specialty drink service. The base venue rental, standard beverage service, and contracted dinner service remain active pending final balance resolution." I read it once silently. Then Mom said, "What?" So I read it out loud. By the time I got to floral ceiling installation, Tessa made a sound like someone had stepped on her hand. "People are going to notice," she said. "Not you were hurt. Not we lied about you. Not I'm sorry. People are going to notice." That was the moment something inside me finally unclenched. Not because it stopped hurting. It hurt so much I felt it in my teeth. But it became simple. I looked at my sister through the narrow opening of my own front door and said, "I noticed when my own sister erased me. You survived that just fine." Mom's face hardened. "You will regret this." "Probably," I said. "But I'll regret it with my own money." Then I closed the door. Cheddar looked up at me and gave a tiny approving chirp. I gave him treats he absolutely did not deserve. The next week was ugly in small, exhausting ways. Relatives texted without knowing the whole story, and somehow with too many emojis. "Your mom is very hurt. Please make peace before the big day. Family is forever. Don't let money come between sisters." I heard there was a misunderstanding. Weddings are stressful. I answered only once in the larger family chat after my cousin asked if I was really refusing to attend. I was removed from the guest list while still expected to pay remaining vendor balances. I have transferred all documentation to the people involved. I won't discuss it further here. Aunt Valerie reacted with a thumbs up. Nobody else said much after that. 2 days before the wedding, Mom texted me. "Fine. Come if you're going to be this dramatic. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just a last-minute opening like I was a stain they had decided the tablecloth could survive. I stared at the message while standing in my apartment wearing old leggings and holding a mug of coffee that had gone cold. For 5 minutes I imagined going. I imagined walking into that barn, seeing the ceremony lawn, the cocktail patio, the exposed beams I had helped reserve. I imagined sitting at a table where my place existed only because consequences had made room for me. Then I put the phone face down. On the wedding day, I went hiking with Sloan. It was one of those Pennsylvania fall mornings that makes people temporarily forget winter is coming. The air smelled like leaves and damp dirt. Sloan brought trail mix. I brought water and a level of emotional baggage that probably counted as resistance training. Midway up the trail, my phone buzzed 3 times in a row. I didn't look. Sloan did. Do you want me to throw it into the woods? No. Are you sure? I have decent aim. I laughed for real, which surprised me. At the overlook, I turned my phone off. Not silent. Off. After the hike, we stopped at a diner with laminated menus, weak coffee, and a waitress who called everyone Han. I ordered chicken noodle soup and a slice of apple pie. Sloan got fries and chocolate cream pie because she said balance was a scam invented by people who hated joy. The apple pie was too sweet and a little soggy on the bottom. It tasted better than anything I had eaten in months. The wedding still happened. I heard about it later from Aunt Valerie, who attended because she said, someone had to watch the circus and report back accurately. The ceremony was fine. The barn looked pretty because the base venue was already pretty. Tessa looked beautiful. Wyatt looked tense. His parents were polite to my parents in the way people are polite when they have decided never to trust you again. Guests noticed things. Of course they did. My mother had spent months posting about specialty drinks and late-night sliders, and a floral ceiling that would make everyone gasp. Instead, there was standard beer and wine, greenery on the tables, and no snack station. Nothing tragic. Nothing shameful. Just not the fantasy my mother sold online. It was still a wedding, Aunt Valerie told me over the phone the next morning. Just not the fantasy your mother sold. Tessa and Wyatt had to put some emergency balances on their own cards. Wyatt's parents covered one vendor directly, but from what Aunt Valerie heard, they made it very clear it was a loan to the couple, not a gift to my parents' image. Mom cried in the bridal suite before the ceremony, though apparently she pulled herself together for photos. Dad gave a speech about family support that Aunt Valerie described as brave, considering the room had receipts. 1 month later, Dad sold his fishing boat. He didn't tell me. My cousin did by accident, in the grocery store while we were both reaching for the same brand of shredded cheese. Apparently he used part of the money to pay down the line of credit he had co-signed for wedding costs and part to send me a repayment check. The check came in a plain envelope with Gordon's handwriting. No note. Just a check for less than 50% of what I had spent. I deposited it. There was a time I would have felt guilty about that. I would have called and said it was too much even though it wasn't enough. I would have softened the discomfort for him. This time I let the bank process it. 3 weeks after the wedding, Tessa texted me. Can we talk? I didn't answer for 2 hours. Not because I wanted to punish her. Because I was learning that urgency from my family was not the same thing as an emergency. When I finally replied, I said, you can text me what you need to say. The typing bubbles came and went for a long time. Then she sent. I cared more about keeping Mom calm than protecting you. I'm sorry. I knew you were paying for things and I let everyone act like you weren't. I didn't know how to stop it, but I know that's not an excuse. Wyatt is really angry with me. I am too, I guess. You didn't deserve what we said about you. I read it sitting on my couch with Cheddar's heavy body pressed against my hip. It wasn't perfect. It didn't fix the money or the lie, or the months I spent stretching my paycheck while my mother collected praise on Facebook. It didn't magically make Tessa brave. But it was the first honest thing she had said in a long time. I wrote back. Thank you for saying that. I hope you mean it. I love you, but I won't be paying for anything else. No loans. No emergency payments. No contracts in my name. Not for you, Mom, Dad, or anyone. Please don't ask. She replied almost immediately. I understand. Maybe she did. Maybe she only understood because the bill had finally reached her. I couldn't control that. My mother did not apologize. She sent one text in November that said, "I hope you're happy with how divided this family is now." I deleted it. My father left one more voicemail about forgiveness and maturity. I saved it in a folder not because I planned to use it, but because sometimes I still needed proof when guilt tried to rewrite history. I changed my cards. I froze my credit. I stopped answering Venmo requests with vague descriptions. When Mom texted in December that the furnace repair was more than expected, I sent back, "That sounds stressful. I hope you find a solution." She didn't respond for 9 days. Those 9 days were the quietest gift she had ever given me. I wish I could say I became a completely different person overnight, but that would be too neat. I still feel the old pull when Tessa sounds upset. I still have moments when I wonder if I was too harsh, usually late at night when the apartment is too quiet and Cheddar is asleep with one paw over his face. Then I open my budget spreadsheet and see my savings slowly recovering. I water my struggling plants. I cook an actual dinner instead of pretending crackers count. I remember standing behind a chained door while my family demanded access to money they had mistaken for love. I don't give family loans anymore. I don't sign contracts for anyone else's dream. I don't pay emergencies that are only emergencies because someone else counted on my guilt clearing the balance. Peace bought with my money was never peace. It was a subscription I forgot to cancel. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.